Hello.
Hi,
How are you doing tonight, Congresswoman?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your time tonight. Are you ready to get going?
Sure. Yes.
Awesome. I just want to start tonight with the crisis in Ukraine. President Biden talked this evening about sending U.S. forces to stand with NATO allies. He talked about releasing millions of barrels of oil from the strategic oil reserves, sanctions, banning Russian planes in American airspace. What else should he be doing?
Yes. I was pleased to hear him lead with Ukraine. I believe that we need to be standing by Ukraine. I would like to see him do more on the energy front. I believe that we should be doing more to crack down on what is Putin and Russia's biggest strength. It's energy. That is what drives their economy. That's what's funding their military. And we should be unleashing American energy. Just today, we voted on legislation. I introduced the American Energy Independence from Russia Act that would unleash American energy, flip the switch so that it takes away Putin's strength.
And we're expecting to, or experts are expecting to see oil prices go up even with the release of those strategic reserves. Is that what you're hearing as well?
There are concerns about our energy costs going up. I think it's the United States imports 11% from Russia, crude oil. Russia provides 40% of Europe's energy. We need to be unleashing our energy so that Putin isn't dominating, and that it would help us fight back Putin's dominance as it relates to energy, and that's his strength right now. That's what funds his military. That's what drives his economy.
Mm-hmm.
So by us countering that would be the strongest stand to take.
The president wants Americans to move forward in this pandemic. He said he wants to keep kids in school, and he wants to make COVID treatment pills available as soon as you go to something like Walgreens and do a COVID test. And if you're positive, you immediately get that free treatment, that pill, on hand. It's going to be right there. What's your take on that sort of optimism as we look forward?
I've long been calling for kids to get back in school, remove the mask in particular, because I don't believe that the masks are helping our kids. In fact, they are causing harm to our kids. But it's encouraging that we're talking about what's going to happen next beyond COVID and addressing some of the impacts of COVID. Certainly, we have a mental health crisis with our kids. We need to address long COVID. We need to address the impacts of COVID as it relates to supply chains, and then we're also experiencing inflation. And the president in that area failed to really address how we're going to reduce inflation costs.
Mm-hmm. Well, Biden said tonight the American Rescue Plan, he said it's working. He cited job creation and, in his words, the breathing room he says it gave to Americans, and how it's also bringing in a decade of infrastructure improvements. Do you agree with that analysis of his?
What we're experiencing in Eastern Washington, really driven by record government spending, including the American Rescue Plan, is inflation, and it is hurting hardworking Eastern Washington families. It is impacting the cost of everything when they go to the gas pump, when they go to the grocery store, and I would like to see us address what that impact on hardworking American families.
When he was talking about that inflation rate, he also pushed the bipartisan Innovation Act. He says it's to bring production and business to American soil. Beginning to end Made in America is one of the quotes he used. Mm-hmm. How long do you think this would take, and what are the challenges? It sounds right now like it's almost too good to be true that it's going to happen next year.
Well, one of the biggest challenges, and I am anxious to make more in America, but it is the access to raw materials and the permitting and the regulatory burden that we have put on manufacturers and anyone who's trying to do business in the United States. That is what we need to address if we want to make in America again. And COVID has really exposed how dangerously dependent we've become upon other countries for some of these basic resources.
What's something positive you took away from tonight's State of the Union, and what's something that's glaringly obvious that he should be addressing that the president hasn't?
Well, one of the positives was when he said that we needed to secure the border and fix an immigration system. The Republicans are anxious to go to work on that. One glaring area was he didn't mention fentanyl. I want us to address the opioid crisis, but we have a crisis with fentanyl. It's the #1 killer of 18 to 45-year-olds, and we need to permanently schedule fentanyl and fentanyl analogs. And he didn't include fentanyl when he was talking about cracking down on drugs.
Mm-hmm. Do you have anything else you want to discuss with us tonight? I know you have a busy schedule ahead.
That was great. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. Have a great evening, Congresswoman.
You too. Good night.